I know I think, I'm not sure if it's on IMDb or Rambo Wiki or whatever, but apparently the next one's about the abusive father element and the Mexican drug cartel element.
But what country did Rambo come from?
Arizona? In that book it's different. I can't remember exactly where in that book. In the sequel novelization, it's kind of like an alternate universe, so it's Arizona, and in the movie it's Arizona, I think. Yeah, Bowie, Arizona.
I wonder what Rambo's got to do with Mexican drug cartels.
Yeah, well, I know like a long time ago when they were going to do Rambo 4, originally they were going to send them to Mexico. They were going to send them after, to look for like the housekeeper's daughter that got kidnapped on spring break, and then they decided on the Burma crisis after. So I think they're going to go back and revisit that. But I don't know. I don't know if I want to see like Rambo in Mexico. You know, it just doesn't. I think Rambo deserves a better finish than just a caper, you know.
How would you kill Rambo off?
How would I kill Rambo off?
Yeah.
Are you ready for this one? Okay. I would kill Rambo off. Okay, let's see.
On the toilet?
Like Elvis? Eating a ham sandwich? No. I would do it where Rambo's back in the U.S. and he has his ranch. Maybe his dad's passed on. Maybe he has Tomask come back from Pakistan. Pakistan or Afghanistan? Maybe working on his ranch. Rambo would be teaching archery and building, like hunting weapons, selling hunting weapons, living off the land completely. And then he would get some mail one day, maybe something from Sarah. I would have it open up with Rambo having a flashback to dream sequences from the Vietnam War, shot totally in point of view, in POV, so we could hear Rambo, but it's like a younger person running around, and we could see the reflections of the young Rambo look like in surfaces. And Rambo wakes up, and then he would go over to the, still in the POV shot, walking through the house, goes to the mirror, and then you get a look at all the scars, and, you know, Rambo versus the ghost of war, kind of back to the haunting elements of the war, which, you know, it would deal a lot with coming full circle and bringing back all the other elements. So then Rambo would be on the ranch, and he would get some mail one day, and he would get this mail to go to Washington to one paid respects to Troutman, and we would find out that Troutman maybe died in the 9/11 attacks. Who knows? But this big conspiracy would be unveiled, where he would come in contact with Caruso, and eventually be reunited with a dying Teasel. And Isaiah wrote this awesome premise for a dying Teasel, where Rambo would go to the hospital, and Teasel would say there was something bigger going on, and they would solve their differences, and Teasel would pass the torch on to Rambo, saying like, I've had to look after my own for so long. He's like, now it's your time. So then we would find out that Rambo, Griggs would meet up with Rambo, Kirkwood Smith from Rambo 3. So Kirkwood would become introduced in, and he would say, okay, well, you know, we found out all these things that are going on, and essentially Rambo would receive a file from Kirkhill that was given to Kirkhill by a dying Murdoch who was killed off for being a whistleblower. So in a sense, in Rambo 2, when Rambo says, you know, find them or I'll find you, Murdoch makes good on his promise, and then Murdoch is killed for it. So it would be like a big whistleblowing, like a big New World Order conspiracy kind of thing. And then they would find out, you know, that Rambo's involved, and by the time Rambo gets home, they've already been to his ranch, and one of his archery students, like a little girl, is killed, and they kill Tomask, and they pretty much burn the whole place down. Rambo walks back into his barn, where some of his weapons have survived, but the little girl is hung from the rafters. But upon getting to his house, I would have a scene where one of the bad guys shoots Rambo through the window of his truck and grazes his head or causes damage to his head, and Rambo passes out, so they think Rambo's dead, so they leave. So Rambo wakes up, and he figures he doesn't have a lot of time. The police are coming. He knows he's going to be blamed. And he walks into the barn, and he sees the little girl hanging. And Rambo snaps. Completely just snaps. And his head is all cut open and stuff. So he rips apart his shirt, uses that as the headband, but to keep his head together. And then just goes on the lam. Grabs whatever he can, goes on the lam. And we would have the bad guys and the police after Rambo. And instead of killing the police, he would just maim them. Not exactly kill them, but take them down like that. But he would kill the bad guys. And in the end, I would have a great standoff where, Rambo gets to the head bad guy, and the bad guy's like, "What are you gonna do?" Rambo's like, I'm gonna blow you to shreds." And then at the end, there would be a great scene where maybe there was another kid. That guy, after everyone else is dead, that guy's alone. Rambo's after him, and then they're caught in the crossfire between all the police, and that guy has a little boy hostage and is gonna kill the little boy. And Rambo would be like, "Okay, I'm pretty sure I could disarm him because he's gonna use the boy for coverage, right? He's not gonna try to go for Rambo because they would just shoot them both." So I would have it in a scenario where Rambo fakes him out so the kid can get away. Rambo pushes away the kid, but at the same time he grabs the bad guy, and the police just open fire. And bam, 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 bam. Rambo uses the guy as a human shield, but in the process, Rambo is killed. And then have him in his dying moment, reference to the First Blood book, where his spirit, the astral projection side of it, leaves his body and goes to the beyond, which they talk a lot about that astral projection element in the First Blood novel. That's how I would do it. Yeah.
I gotcha. So he's he takes him down, grabs the boy, grabs him by the neck, and that's it. They all both.
Yeah.
Well, I gotcha.
So it'd be kind of like Rambo versus the Illuminati. That's how I would do it.
It's going to be hard for him to kill off his character because it's one of the most famous characters.
Yeah.